There's no such thing as failure in life, especially as a creative entrepreneur. When you're going through life as a creative entrepreneur, you can take detours. You can take so many different roads and it will still lead you to where you're destined to be. And I'm very much a product of that. When I lost my job in IT 8 years ago, I had no idea that pivoting to a creative career would lead me to where I am today. It just goes to show that regardless of where you are in your journey, regardless of where you think you should be, you just want to keep pushing forward and keep making those right decisions that is going to lead you from here to where you need to be.
Hey, GlowTalks fam, welcome back to the studio. I am so thrilled for today's conversation. We are diving into something for anyone who's ever felt stuck between a dream and reality. So we're talking to creatives, entrepreneurs, for anyone who's asked, well, maybe I've built what I thought was my dream, but maybe it's not enough, and you're asking what's next. So here to walk us through that conversation today is Glory Barbaris.
Yes.
And
Hi.
she is the founder and creative director of
Wildflower
Hill.
Yeah.
So thank you for being here today.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Of
I'm
course.
so happy to be here.
I'm thrilled to hear more about your journey, as I'm sure my viewers and listeners are as well. So let's get started.
Sure.
Talk to me a little bit about your growing up in Nigeria and how that shaped your initial vision of your life.
Okay. Well, thank you again for having me. I'm really happy to be here. Well, growing up in Nigeria, I moved here when I was 16 going on 17.
Mm-hmm.
So it was one of those places where I lived with my grandparents and was raised by them. And it was a very beautiful life. I mean, it's not a place where there was electricity, at least in my village anyway. There was no electricity. You had to walk miles just to get to stream and get some water and all that stuff. But it was just such a fulfilling life. And I just remembered working the farm with my grandparents, they always would either plant for other people or other people would lease our land and plant. So we're very agricultural driven. So that's sort of like where my little green thumb came from. Okay. And I just remember, the one thing I remember the most is like just planting on the farm with my grandparents. And all of a sudden, one day my grandpa was like, wait a minute, these crops, I think it was cassava, they're doing so well because they noticed that the ones that I was putting the seeds in were growing bigger. I mean, not that the others weren't flourishing.
Right.
But then every year after that, when it was planting season, they would make me put all the seeds in the holes.
They're like, what's your magic?
Exactly.
How are you doing
Because
this?
you know how some people have green thumbs.
Yeah.
And I think my grandpa realized that I did have that. Mm-hmm. And so every planting season, I would just be the one putting all the seeds in, regardless of what we're planting. And so I just loved it so much. I thought it was such a great way to spend some amazing time with my grandparents. And they were so hardworking and they just were also really, really happy. Like I just never heard them argue or anything like that. My grandma, she's so sweet. She was always cooking and cleaning. And my grandpa would always just take care of the house or hang out with his buddies. But it was a great upbringing. And when I came here, it was just such a new world to be in America. And I was just like, okay.
Well, I'm sure, especially at that age, you probably were pretty scared.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know what to expect, I guess. I mean, my dad had lived in the U.S. at the time for probably about like 25 years.
Okay.
And I'd come with my mom and my brother and my little sister. And she was pregnant at the time with my little brother, who's now not so little anymore. And it was really shocking just to land at O'Hare. This is the Midwest. I grew up in Milwaukee. Okay. And so it was just different, I suppose. And really culturally shocking. The first time it snowed, I actually sat on our front lawn in the snow for an hour until I started getting cold. And my dad's like, you need to put on a coat or come inside. Because I'd never seen snow before.
Wow.
It was my first time seeing snow. So
Yeah.
everything really changed.
I mean, I'm sure there were a lot of firsts, right?
Yes.
So talk to me about how did growing up in Nigeria and especially working more the land drive you in your future education? Because I understand you went into tech.
Yes.
So that's quite a jump.
I know, right? So when I first moved here, when I first got to America, and I think my parents had gone to register us at Brown Deer High, which is the high school in my hometown. And the principal said, well, sir, they're both too old for high school. My older brother, he's like 2 years older than me.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, at the time, I'm 16 going on 17 and he's already 17. So yeah. And so my dad's like, well, they're young. They can still be in high school for at least a year or two.
Yeah.
And so anyway, the principal had advised my parents to go to sign us up at junior college.
Oh, okay.
And so because in Nigeria, we had already been through 6 years of high school because you go to school longer there than you do here. Here's 4 years.
Yep.
So we'd already finished 6 years. So technically, we're like sophomores in college.
Yeah.
So we would be technically behind if we went into high school. So I ended up going to junior college, which is where I got a computer science degree at 17 or 18, whatever that was. Yeah. And then I worked for a little bit and then kept working and kept going to school and eventually worked in tech for about 18 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite an
I stayed in it.
undertaking.
I kept going, building websites and working in product development, product management. So
okay, so more in the in the typical corporate kind of structure.
Mm-hmm. Help desk.
Okay, yeah.
Like I did everything.
So how did you go from being in that world for so long? Yeah. What was the catalyst to being like, oh, this isn't for me?
Be a creative person.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because when I was about 23 years old and living in Milwaukee, and I think the company that I'd been working for at the time, it was a privately owned company. So he sold the company to a big corporation. And so there was all these like non-compete contracts you had to sign, this, that, and the other. And I think one of the clauses in there was you couldn't work for another competitor or in the same field for X number of time or something. And I was like, oh my gosh. I went and told my dad. My dad's like, well, this doesn't sound like something you should sign. And so they're like, well, if you don't sign, then you can't work here anymore. I said, then that's fine. So I cashed in my 401k and literally just moved to Miami, Florida. I did.
I love Miami, so
I did.
That's not the shock, but just the shock of being like, I'm done.
Well, I mean, when you spend when you spend any time in technology working in that field, you sort of have to keep going. If you pause and you come out of the field for maybe like more than 6 months to a year, you're going to be way behind because technology is fast moving. Changing. It's just changing. Yeah. And so it just didn't seem like I wanted to stay in a company that would make us sign that type of like contract. But anyway, I at the same time was modeling. So I just went to Florida and continued to be a model.
Oh, wow.
And at that time, I'd gone to school for so many years, I was just fatigued from studying. Yeah. Like quite literally, I could not study anymore. Like my brain, I was done. And so I had to just take some time off. Yeah. And I just did modeling for a few years.
Which is a creative work.
It is really creative work.
It's a lot harder than what people think.
It really is. You just don't talk. You just show up and sit there. Oh, you walk the runway. And sweat. And that's
pretend that nothing's happening.
Nothing is happening. You can't talk. You can't say anything. But that was really, really one of those formative years of my life because I just felt like it was the time in my life where I could do my own. Like, I don't want to say think for myself, but I could just grow into who I am, make my own decisions, do my own thing, wake up and go wait tables. Then on the weekend, like do the runway thing and then volunteer at the Humane Society. And I started taking in dogs. I have 5 dogs, by the way.
Oh my gosh.
In 2020, is it 2003 or something like that? I was there till like 2006. Then I moved to Virginia. And then I went to Mason.
Okay.
And then got another degree because school was not enough.
Yeah.
So I got a communications degree.
So your brain was able to actually take a break.
Oh, yeah.
And you could do your creative work. you could fill your time with things that had nothing to
Absolutely.
do
With
with
expectations from my parents or other people or work or whatever. Just being able to be your own person.
Yeah.
It's very important to find, moment in time to within the path of your life to be who you want to be, live the life that you want to live, and do the things that you want to do. I strongly believe that, like, between the time I was like 20 to 25, my focus was always like, I have to do every single thing that I've always wanted to do, because when I turned 30, I needed to make sure that I was prepared to handle my 30s, right? Because when you're in your 30s, you're no longer a kid anymore. You have to, like, sort of grow up, get a job, and be responsible. Not saying that I wasn't responsible. It's just like when you're growing up as a child, you just can't be partying in your 20s or 30s. You have to, if you're trying to build the
something.
future, right?
Yeah,
And so I always just felt like I needed to just go do that. And 3
How were your
years was
parents
great.
with it? I mean, you said they had expectations. I can only imagine.
Yeah. My parents are disciplinarians, right? And they sort of have this expectation of, like, you have to go to school. School is like the most important thing as a child. It is for all children, but I don't know what it is about. I want to say, like, Nigerian parents, they just harp on this whole thing about education. And it is like that, irrespective of whether you're in Nigeria or you're abroad.
Yeah.
And I think it's because us as a nation, or, back there, it's like education really opens doors.
Yeah.
And it is not an option where we come from. Like, you have to go to school. I mean, if you're not going to school, what else are you doing?
Yeah.
There's so many more opportunities for you to get in trouble. And so for us, that was not an option not to be in school. And so when I told my dad that I was going to take some time off, now keep in mind that, like, yes, I got a computer science degree when I was like 18 or something, because my dad said, well, if you don't know what you're going to study, just go computer science, because he's a computer scientist.
Okay.
So that's what I did. But then over the summer, he would make me read computer science books and then do a report on it at the dinner table. So while kids were playing, I was literally at the Brown Deer Library, like, studying computer science. Like, that's crazy, right? And so when I told him, like, I'm sorry, I just want to take a few, like, I just want to take
Find
time
myself.
off. Like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I was 23.
Yeah.
I'm walking away from this job, and I've been working in tech. At that time, I was like 18. So I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
It's like, well, if that's what you want to do, And my dad didn't talk to me for like a year.
Oh, that must have been so hard.
Not really.
You were like, actually, thank goodness, because I didn't have to hear him and his judgments of my life.
No, actually, what's interesting? My parents don't. I feel incredibly lucky for the parents that we were given, because they're extremely supportive and loving. So even though he wasn't really talking to me, I got where he was coming from.
Yeah.
Right. But I still made that phone call every Sunday from Miami. Hey, Dad, how's it going? Talk to him for, okay, bye. But I still did that. I kept that, because even if he didn't want to talk to me, I made sure he talked to me anyway, because I would call him every Sunday. And then eventually he just got over it. And so in 2006, I was waiting on a group of girls, and that's where things changed for me, because girls were they were celebrating one of their girlfriends. And because I waited tables while I modeled and, like, just living, I wasn't, didn't have any debt. I didn't, whatever. And so they were congratulating her on either getting into law school or, like, passing her bar or something like that.
Yeah.
And so for me, even now I can picture it, just going to drop they had ordered drinks, just drop it down, and I'm just like, in my head, I'm thinking, you're 26, waiting on a 23-year-old who's either, like, going to law school or something. And I'm just like, I felt so inadequate, right? And I was just like, oh my God, I got to get my life together. And so I started looking into colleges that had programs in public relations, because I'd always wanted to be in PR.
Okay.
I'd always said to myself, I want to work in PR. I want to represent a brand, a person, or a thing. Either way, I want to work in PR. And so I started to look into it, and I said, Dad, I think think I want to go back to college. I'm looking for this. And my dad's like, oh, by the way, we moved from Milwaukee. We're now in Virginia. I'm like, he got transferred with his job.
You're like, oh, when did you want to tell
Exactly.
me about
You
that,
want to tell me
Dad?
that, Dad? And that's the other thing with my culture, my family's like, that's, I guess, I don't live at home, so he doesn't need to tell me, right?
Right.
And so at that point, my parents had divorced. So he was just making a career move, which worked out perfectly because when he moved to Alexandria and I was looking for schools, Mason was the only school at the time that I noticed had a concentration in PR. Yeah. And I felt that was lining up so perfectly. So I went back to school 2 years. I was done with the college, got my degree and got out and started working in tech. And I worked on Capitol Hill, worked for nonprofits, like did all these other things. And my last job in tech, I was a senior technical product manager for the Department of Energy. And I remember coming back from my honeymoon and finding out that our contract had expired. So the DOE wasn't re-signing the contract, just like where we are now with the whole government shutdown.
Yeah.
And so I decided, wow, what do I do now?
Yeah.
But the other piece of it is where it is so important to listen to sort of like your instinct, right? And it almost felt as though while I was in tech, like I feel like God was also pushing me to be in the creative world as well. Because in 2008, I started blogging.
Okay.
Right? So I've been blogging since 2008. In 2012, the Instagram app was available for Android users because I'd always been an Android user. I'd never been an iPhone user.
Okay.
And for the longest time, apps were only available on iOS.
Right. Yep.
And then eventually...
Not that we're old or anything.
Not that we're old. Right? Not that we're old or anything.
Forever young.
And then when they released the version for the Android, I downloaded it in 2012. And I started, posting, writing my blog, doing other things. And my blog sort of like evolved with me as I got out of tech and then into like a lifestyle blog. And then I got pregnant and then into a mommy blog and then into a motherhood blog. And it just kind of evolved with me. But I still had my full-time job. Yeah. Right. And I was still doing that. And then between 2012 and 2016, I was in this world of influencing. So I started working with brands. Wow. And I started... Which is
what you said you wanted to do.
Yeah.
And with communications and PR, like this was a perfect marriage of like how you could be creative.
Yes.
And utilize all your gifts and skill that
and
you
still
have
be
learned.
Around people and support people and encourage people and motivate people. And so it was really, really interesting to see how all of that turned into my business today.
So tell me a little bit more, like how did you get into the luxury floral design? And you were doing events too at a certain point. Okay.
Yeah. So when I got engaged and married I got married in 2017. My wedding, I actually just planned it in 6 months. Wow. Small wedding, micro wedding, 40 people. And my wedding just was kind of published all over the place. I think my wedding was published on multiple blogs, I think about 15 or 20 times.
That's
like
amazing.
Just all over the place. Yeah. Even our engagement.
So God had
was
the planned.
Right.
Planned for
exactly.
you to like be
I had
out
no
in
idea.
the spotlight.
I had no idea. Wow. Even our engagement on Facebook was Facebook viral at the time. And it was insane. I had no idea this was like a thing. I would just post, go in the office and do my work as a product manager and then come out and I would get like 3,000 likes on my posts and things like that and getting deals with brands. And I started to get asked whether or not I was doing wedding planning or something. And I was like, well, I just did my wedding. I am not a planner. I'm more of like a designer. So I worked with like 1 or 2 other local designers just to design, and they loved planning. I didn't know anything about that. I just knew all the beautiful things, putting them all together. Like that was like something that was gifted
like
to me,
the vision.
Right. I can see it. I can see the vision, but the logistical side of it was just, it took a little bit of time. I'm like, but you can do that though. Yeah. So I did that for a couple of years. And then from there, just started planning. And when I couldn't, what's interesting? When I couldn't find, because when I lost the job, in October of, I think that was 2017. I looked for a job for almost 6 months. Remember, I said, when you get out of tech, you don't want to be out for more than 6 months or a year.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find a job. And then finally I was like, because I'm very spiritual. I used to be religious when I was younger, but I'm a very spiritual person. And I just said to him, and I'm not afraid to tell him, I said, listen, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, I've built this career for like 18 years.
Yeah.
I can't find a job. It's been 6 months.
Yeah.
What are we doing? You're going to help me find a job? Like, help. Like, I pray, yes, and we should all do, right? But me personally, I have conversations with him.
Yeah.
Because
same.
I want him to know, like, I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked so hard. I can't find a job. So if you want me to get back into the tech field, then you will find me a job in the tech field.
Yeah.
But if you don't want me to go back there, then you will find me some other way in which I could keep working or whatever.
Like continue providing
something
for yourself and your family.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course, he answered that. I never went back to tech.
Well, for a good reason.
Right?
Now,
I never went back to tech.
Wow.
And I was just like, well, then let's do this.
That's so powerful too, because like in those moments that you're praying or you're talking with God, and I always imagine like actually Jesus sitting in the car next to me.
Yeah.
And I'm just chatting away. Like that's how I pray or talk to God. And maybe it's not there sitting at the kitchen table or wherever. But yeah, I have a lot of conversational work with
prayers,
God versus like sitting and just reciting, which I do find value in that as well. But I'm with you. So how do you know? Like, how do you know? Okay, fine. You said this is the ultimatum, God. If you're going to have me in tech, you're going to find me a position. And if you don't, then it's not that. So like, how do you bridge that gap?
Well, the thing is that he's been preparing me for that moment. And I had no idea, right? Because was working in tech, but remember I told you I've been blogging and I never let go of blogging.
Right.
Even when my tech life my corporate work was doing very well, I was making good money, bought a house, all these things.
Yeah.
But I was still blogging. I had no idea why I was still blogging, but it was doing really well. It just kept going like this.
Yeah.
And then from there, I started really just working with brands one-on-one where they would just hire me to do product photography for their products. And so they can put it in their native app or use it on their website. So I'll just do the pictures, edit it and everything and send it back to them. And they'll just pay me. Instead of paying me to post on my Instagram, they were just paying me to produce the work and give it to them directly.
Yeah, that's
so
great.
That sort of took off, right? And then with the wedding stuff, that sort of also took off. So then eventually I ended up having to create a new company, Always Creating That's what my whole company used to be. Always Creating Studio Weddings and Events. And then Always Creating Studio, where I just did just my creative work.
Yeah. So I know we talked kind of briefly before we started filming today, but tell me now, what happened with the wedding planning? Like you said, you kind of just let that piece of it go.
Yeah. I mean, wedding planning for about 7 years. That was really fun, really great, amazing couples, amazing clients, vendors and everything. But towards the end, I noticed that I just wasn't into it anymore. And I don't know if it was because, like after COVID, we did a lot of work during COVID and like a couple of years after, I even founded another small micro wedding planning company. So we were very, very busy. And I think I was either getting burnt out, either that and coupled with things that were happening with me on site. I had this very particular experience with a vendor on site and it was really, really awful. I think I spent about 12 hours at this wedding and no one spoke to me. The vendor team, none of them spoke to me, but she just was awful. She just was berating me and just would not talk to me and just was saying like all sorts of horrible things about me to the other people on site, on staff.
Like
even to the point,
in a discriminatory way.
Right. Even to the point where she was saying things to like the client. Like I remember walking up to go talk to the bride just to say how she's doing, and she was looking at me like, she's like, what do you want? And I'm just like, I've spent almost a year helping you plan your wedding, and it's your wedding day, and I go, like I always do, to go just check in, see how they're doing. And she just went, what do you want? Because I noticed she was spending a lot of time with the couple.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also found out from the girl that was working for me that this other lady was trying to poach her, telling her that I'm such a horrible planner. I don't know what I'm doing. And so whatever she was telling this girl behind my back, she was coming back to tell me. And so I just kind of ignore that kind of stuff because this is someone's wedding day.
Yeah.
I'm not getting into it. So
No, but
you
this
do
day and
you.
age, like honestly,
Exactly.
having those type of
Experience.
Yeah, and that people have these outdated perceptions and perspectives, culture and
I'm not even sure why she
differences
felt that way
in people.
either.
Yeah.
She just met me. I mean, this is the first time I was working with her.
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't do anything to you. But anyway, respectfully, I
look,
went through the entire night.
We talked about it, but like racism still exists
It does.
in this country.
Yeah.
And it's a shame. Like, I don't get it, but yeah.
Yeah, some people are, I honestly are like predisposed to be that way. But I'm really proud of myself because I stood up to her at the end of the night. When all the guests left, the couples left, all the vendors had all cleaned up and left. So did I, and so did our team. And I just remembered she was just berating me about something where another vendor had left on site. And I was like, I'm sorry, but that is not my problem. We already contacted that person to come pick it up. They knew they had to pick it up before midnight.
Yeah.
And we reached out multiple times. And so, that is, and, she says, no, this is your problem. You are not leaving. I'm like, I'm sorry, but like, ordinarily I wouldn't just lose my cool.
Right.
But then I was like, I'm sorry, like, what is wrong?
Yeah.
What is the problem?
Yeah.
Because all night, you have just been so horrible to me. And we've never worked before together. I don't know you like that.
Yeah.
But you're just being unkind to me. And I'm not sure what the problem is, and she just couldn't. She actually was taken aback that I actually was speaking up for myself. I'm like, just because you can walk around and treat me like crap doesn't mean like I don't have a voice.
Right.
It's just I'm not going to stoop to your level because
and do it in front of this day
exactly
and ruin everyone
that
else's
is not
day.
my day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I have more self-control than that.
No, I mean, it takes courage,
Yeah.
it takes courage, and then it takes being the bigger person. And I'm sure that
always have to be the bigger person.
Well, that, and I think also just having that conversation with God. Like, if you weren't so strong in your faith that day, you probably would have, lost it earlier in the day and potentially,
because that would come back on me.
No, right.
And
I was going to say, would it be representative?
That's someone else's day. Yeah, it wouldn't be representative of my brand.
That's right.
And so, sometimes some people you just have to like say something to.
Yeah.
But honestly, personally, sometimes you just have to walk away because that says a lot more about who they are than who I am.
That's right.
And so, I just couldn't be in that world anymore. And this is just one example. There are multiples,
sure.
but I'm just not there. I would like to use my work to bring joy to people's day. And that's why I love florals so much. And that's why it's so important to me to use it in a way that is going to encapsulate this beautiful day for this beautiful couple or this beautiful moment, because it just makes the whole day feel and come alive, and it just brings so much joy. That's the one thing I take pride in, is that God is using me to create something that is actually bringing joy to one of the most important days in people's lives. Yeah. And that is truly an honor. It's something that I don't take lightly. And I'm extremely proud of myself and my team. And I'm extremely proud to be able to keep going and continue going, and all the things I've gone through being here in this country and a woman and a mom. And I mean, it can be a lot. You can be pushed to a place where you're forced to like walk away or give up. And I've come close, but I'm just like, nope, I can't do that because I've just worked so hard.
Well, you're co-creating with God, right?
Right.
And so he's put you here.
Yeah.
So we have to honor those spaces, even though some days can be a challenge, or we even second guess ourselves, or well, that's absolutely beautiful. Now, so you've transitioned into the floral design lifestyle experience, where you can use your green thumb, and get back to your roots in a sense, right?
Yeah. Look at you with all the plants.
I know, with your cassava, right?
Yeah.
So I really inspired by the story, and even though like you have challenges and bumps along the way, right? It goes to show, that you can still persevere through it. And having courage and using your voice, speaking up for yourself, advocating for yourself, those are all very powerful things that we can utilize.
Absolutely. And stay focused. If you want to do this, and if you have something that you truly feel passionate about, that you just feel like you're drawn to it, you're called to it, there's a reason for that, because God is trying to lead you to a place where he can use you to impact other people, so that way they can be led to their own purpose. So it's just, we're all just sort of in this ecosystem of using our true calling, our purpose, to help others realize their purpose and their true calling. And so it's so important to just listen to your instinct, stay focused, and do your best, and don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about yesterday. Don't worry about what other people are doing. You just worry about what you're trying to do. Even though you don't know or see where you're going, he knows. God knows where you're going. He knows. Even if you take a detour, he's still going to get you there one way or another.
If it's meant for you, it will not pass you by.
Absolutely.
I really believe that.
I believe that
Hence
too.
this podcast.
Right? And
so
look at that.
Look
at I'm here.
I know. So it's creative worlds collide. And I love the idea of really when we are following our passions and we're following like what God sees our purpose, like we feel more joy, we bring more joy around us, and we tend to worry and stress less, even though the challenges still there, arrive, like they still come and pass by, but we have an inner sense and an inner knowingness that no matter what, like we'll be able to get through it and find a solution. So you found your solutions. Tell me, you were mentioning before your business is like booming. So you're in a space now that you've created at home, which is wonderful.
I have a home studio. I converted our 2.5-car garage into a home studio, which is a beautiful space that I love to be in, and our team works out of. And what's interesting is a couple of years ago, when I was thinking about walking away from planning and just really focusing on floral design, or maybe even I got into home staging, as I mentioned earlier. And I just was like, let me just see what that looks like, because I really love interior design. I love playing around with, decor and things like that.
And colors.
I love it. And all of that is like totally my vibe. And wasn't really looking for Wildflower Hill Co to like sort of, in a way, kind of blossom the way it did, to be honest. And all of a sudden, God's like, nope, we're growing.
Wow.
And, this past year, I think we grew to like a team of like 20.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Designers, event staff, people in the office, operations, leading digital, and, my assistant. So it's just like having a whole team, and then seeing the work that we put out and seeing how beautiful and how happy these couples are on their day is just so incredibly amazing. And I'm just so happy I never gave up.
Yeah. I was going to say, if you had a final like message, in all of your experience, and now having a thriving business that you can co-create every day, and bring joy to your life and to others, what would you say? What would you tell our viewers?
I always like to say, like, put blinders on.
Okay.
Because looking at other people and seeing what they're doing, you get distracted. You're just distracting yourself from getting to your destiny, I really love and when you get distracted, it just takes you longer to get there. So putting blinders on, that's when I noticed like my business really grew and was sustainable and just was kind of going in a positive direction. Because the first couple of years I started as a planner, I was just like, oh my God, look at what this person is doing. Oh, look at what that person's doing.
Yeah.
Look at what that. And that, all of those sort of dilutes what you want to do for your own business.
Or where they say comparison is the thief of joy.
That is true. That's why you have to put blinders on, put your head down, really stay focused, really stay in tune to what you're trying to do. Because we're already preordained by God for what we're here to do on earth, right? He already knows where we're going to end up. You just need to make choices, make decisions to take you there.
Yeah.
Sooner rather than later, however which way, even if you go like this, it's still the path that you're supposed to take.
Yeah.
Because if you take a detour, you might meet someone or experience something that will teach you something so valuable that you can then put it back into your journey as a creative entrepreneur and then keep going. There's no such thing as failure. It's just a matter of like collecting all this knowledge and wisdom, and then it's almost like you play those video games, right? And you're getting all these, like, what do you call it? These things.
I know,
but you know what I'm talking about. When you play the video games and you get like
the
little things. You're collecting them, right?
Yeah.
Because it gives you more energy, but then you can use them as tools to move forward. So every single decision and choices that you're making is leading you there. You just have to decide whether it's going to take you shorter, longer, or faster.
Yeah.
You want to be on a sustained path. But put blinders on, stay focused.
Yeah. I had a coaching like very early on when my kids were all very young, and she would say, stay in your lane. And as I got older and, just like you describe, that you're like looking around and this person's doing this and that person's doing that. Like, I realized exactly what she was saying. Yeah. Is just to not put your head down. It's not necessarily about that in that way, but it's about
staying
just
in your lane.
Being focused.
Yeah, focused.
So, wow. Yeah. Well, this is such an amazing message. I'm so excited to share with our viewers.
This was so fun.
I know. Glory, thank you so much for being here.
Of course.
And just for all your inspiration. I'm going to walk away here. I had chills a couple of times sitting here talking with you, and I know I'm going to walk away and think about this conversation. Good. In my future and endeavors too. So
thank you.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you and what you're doing.
Oh,
I love
so sweet. Yeah. So we're going to keep on going.
Yes.
God says.
God says keep going.
Keep going. So now, hopefully you are game to play along. We have a little fun thing that we do at the end of our episode. It's called ping pong, and it's just a series of a couple of questions. It's rapid fire. So answer, and it can be quick answers, and
oh God,
we can share really a little bit more about you with our viewers.
Okay.
So
all right, let's go.
All right. So first question. Favorite flower and why?
Someone asked me this the other day.
It's probably really hard for you.
This is really hard for me. So, man, I love peonies.
Okay. Oh, they're so beautiful.
They're so beautiful. And the fragrance, they're very delicate. They have so many different layers, which we all do.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I love it. Okay. What is your go-to routine when you get stressed out?
I drink wine.
Oh,
you're sorry.
You're right up my alley here. We're gonna be besties from
I'm
now
a
on.
Mom, okay, I have to work. And I'm sorry. Wine.
What's your favorite type of wine? Just curious.
Red wine.
I know I love red wine versus
Apothic
the white.
Red. If you're watching,
I love it.
Yeah, red wine.
Awesome. Okay, best for winter and cold days like today.
Like today.
Question 3. Best piece of career advice you would give your younger self?
Keep learning.
Okay, yeah.
If it's, I feel like you always have to keep learning. Don't just, because if you don't learn, someone could tell you something that is not, I don't want to say true, but you have to kind of go out there and learn for yourself. Mm-hmm. Like, if before you jump into something, like, find out more information, especially if you're running a business. Yeah. Like, you need to learn about all the different aspects of the business, like operations, like finances.
And you don't know what you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know, and you don't want someone to tell you the wrong thing. That's so right. You have to keep learning.
I think the other thing for me personally with being a business owner is like knowing when I don't know the answer to go find the right resources and get the solution, get the answers, right?
Absolutely.
With trusted individuals. And it's okay. We aren't supposed to know everything.
Supposed to know everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how what I talk about with my team, all the time is I'm the creative. I know nothing about, I don't want to handle the operations anymore. Yeah. I don't want to handle the finances. Yeah. That should be left. So you find
an expert for that.
Yes, I definitely find the experts. Delegate, invest. Yeah. In them, in good people, and that way you can stay focused on what you need to do so you can keep thriving and keep building.
Oh gosh, that's so important. Thank you for that. A song that uplifts your spirit. Or a singer, if you like.
Kings of Leon, Comeback Story.
Okay. All right, I like it.
They're my favorite band ever.
I love Kings of Leon.
They're amazing music, and if you listen to it. Mm-hmm. It's moving. Those Tennessee boys. It's very moving.
Okay, and what's one word that defines your journey today?
One word? Can be two.
Sure, two. I'll allow it.
Actually, one word, comeback.
Okay, I like it. It's hyphenated. Yeah.
Yes.
It's technically one.
Technically. But awesome. I don't know. Because so much has happened so much happens in our lives, right? Yeah. We go through so many things, personal life, private life, like work life, all the things. But when you come back, you come back from it, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, otherwise, it's
building character.
Yes, resilience. It's
strength to
grit,
keep going, and then also knowing that you did that.
Yeah, you did that.
Yeah,
and you're wiser, smarter.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
this is so wonderful. Thank you.
This is not over. I'm just kidding. This has been so great. I love it so much.
Yeah, I know. We could totally talk all day, I'm sure.
You and I could totally.
Well, I'll take you up on the wine. How about that?
Yes, please. So, wine buddies.
Yeah, I know. I love it. So thank you for being here again.
Thank you.
These are
for
all very
me.
Inspirational messages for anyone, anyone who's looking to find a new way and courage to follow their intuition.
Of course. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for what you're doing here. And because you are following your purpose in life, you actually are now able to create this platform that then allows me to walk through this part of my journey.
That's so beautiful.
So...
Well, listen, I know you have a lot to offer us, with your floral design and lifestyle design company. Yeah. Tell us where we can find you online. Yeah. And could I, if I'm not doing an event, but maybe just needed flowers, can I order them from you? Okay. Wow.
Absolutely.
So tell me more.
Okay. So you can find us on Instagram at wildflowerhill.co, and you can find us online at our website is wildflowerhill.co. Okay. You can also send us an email at hello@wildflowerhill.co. We do have floral classes that we offer from time to time. So if you're interested in taking a flower class, just keep an eye on our Instagram. You can find out more information from us on that. We also offer floral designs and floral arrangements for home, office. We have floral subscriptions, so you can place those online, or we can sign you up for 3 months, 6 months, or a year. We basically come in every 2 weeks and we swap out the designs and we come replenish. And we can also offer a subscription for birthday. So you can order flowers for someone's birthday for local delivery. You can also pick up in our studio. There are so many different ways in which we bring flowers to every moment of your day and your life. You can order for your clients. Yeah. And so, feel free to reach out to us, send us an email or send us a DM, and we'll be more than happy to, help you guys out.
Awesome.
We're going to create a unique code for you guys. Okay. And we'll give it to you so you can see it in the show notes.
All right. Awesome. Yeah. So guys, check out the comments below and you'll see the code. I can't wait personally to call in and get some orders placed. I just moved, so it's always nice to have fresh flowers in your home.
We would love to gift you with an arrangement for your new home.
I love that. Well,
absolutely.
Thank you guys all for being here today with us. We have so many inspirational messages. If this touched you, or you know someone who would love to hear this conversation and find inspiration in their life and with their business and with their creative work, please share, like, subscribe. You guys, I'm so grateful to have you here with me in the GlowTalks studio. We're on Apple Podcast, we're on YouTube and Spotify, so you can find us on lots of different platforms. Thank you all again. I am very grateful to have you, and we will see you in the next episode.